I have always considered myself to be intelligent when it came to my finances, but in fact, I wasted a hell of a lot of money when I was younger. I stayed at home in my early 20s, and the idea of saving money and budgeting my expenditure was non-existent, given I hadn't thought about a budget since high school accounting. Thankfully, through experience, I have learned to be more mindful of how I spend my income. To get on track financially, start by avoiding these common mistakes. But first, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for financial prosperity. New uploads every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday on all things investing, making money, and building long-lasting generational wealth. Let's get back into the video. 1. Not tracking your cash flow. Cash flow is one of the most important things to be aware of, especially in your 20s. You've got to know where your money is going, and you've got to make sure that more money is coming in compared to going out. This means sitting down to craft a budget. A budget is simply an estimate of income and expenditure for a set period of time. And if you don't have one, you're likely to misuse your resources. You improve on that by using one of the many free budgeting apps, like Pennies, to help you categorize and monitor your monthly and annual spending. 2. Buying impulsively and based on expensive labels. Chasing a trendy lifestyle, especially one you can't afford, is an easy mistake to make in a world of social media gratification. Avoid trying to look rich instead of building wealth. Nice cars, fancy dinners, designer clothing. That's what we think wealthy people do with their money. But if you focus on just looking rich without focusing on building actual wealth, you'll never have financial security or freedom. Think about spending your money first on savings and investing to build wealth. Then you can spend the money you make through investments on treating yourself. But without the actual wealth and money in the bank when you're done spending, you're not rich. You're just broke wearing nicer drip. 3. Not finding the best deals. You can save a lot of money by shopping around for the best deal on purchases like a car, cell phone provider, cable, insurance. Most purchases can be stressful, and you may not want to spend even more time comparing prices. But any recurring or big purchase is worth the initial effort of finding or negotiating for a good deal. You can even tell the seller a deal you found elsewhere and use it as leverage to get better price. 4. Renting alone. Your 20s can feel like a rush to independence, and living alone is a big part of that. But don't overlook spending a few years with a roommate. You may achieve financial freedom faster by splitting the rent. And you'll save even more if those roommates happen to be your parents. Not everyone has the opportunity to live at home, but if you do, a few postgraduate years living with your family while you save up is nothing to scoff at. And it can be a kickstarter to investing your money into cash-generating assets. 5. Not establishing your credit. As much as I emphasize this point, credit can be and is a double-edged sword. But first, your credit score is basically a 3-digit number between 301 and 850 based on how you've used credit in the past, and the higher it is, the better. Generally, you don't want your credit score to dip below 650, as potential creditors in the future will consider you less trustworthy and less deserving of the best rates. While often overlooked or forgotten about, building good credit early on is essential. It will allow you to make big purchases, like a car or even a home, that rely on credit to prove you're capable of making your payments on time. You improve on this by selecting the right credit card for your spending habits and making sure to pay it off in full every month to avoid debt. However, signing up for way too many credit cards can be a recipe for disaster. Having a few credit cards can help you build up your credit score, but too many can lead to a cycle of compounding interest and debt. If you can't pay off the amount you spend every month, you'll be buried in the snowball effect. Financing vacations or a new wardrobe on credit card debt is an unhealthy financial habit. Whether using credit cards to pay for everyday expenses or using them to finance a lifestyle beyond your means, carrying a balance on multiple credit cards can quickly spiral out of control. It's instead better to ease into using credit by making a few small purchases on a single credit card and paying off the balance in full each month. If you fear to pay off your credit debt on time, depending on the terms of agreement, your bank may have to liquidate some of your assets. 6. Not investing. Investing can be considered the single most effective way to start building wealth. The earlier you start, the better, thanks to the power of compound interest, meaning your 20s are critical to being rich in the future. Investing in the stock market can be an intimidating idea that often feels reserved for the guys at Wall Street. Elevating your wealth and securing your financial future may take more than just a good salary and an annual raise. And that's where investing can play a role. People in their 20s should begin investing in a low-fee, diversified equity fund and continue to invest consistently whether the market is up, down, or sideways. You can start by researching low-cost index funds, which Warren Buffett recommends, or by looking into the low-cost and low-risk online investment platforms known as robo-advisors. However, based on history, dollar cost averaging into a mutual fund or ETF is a terrific lifelong strategy. Starting early is the key to successfully building wealth, and time is the greatest friend to an investor because of compound interest. Take advantage of the time you have to build that wealth and learn easy ways to begin your investment journey, but make sure you prioritize your expenses, debts, and an emergency savings fund before setting money aside for investing. Or you can also venture into other investments such as rental real estate, or even starting your own business. Check out our playlist section for videos on how to begin investing in real estate or business ideas you can filter and start worldwide. 7. Having many subscription services. If you watch Netflix regularly or count on Amazon Prime for free shipping, streaming services, and access to books, then keep them and enjoy. But what about that introductory online newspaper special you registered for because it was cheap and you wanted to read one article and now you're paying full price? Or the software you signed up for to help you learn a foreign language but you gave it up after a few weeks? The service could be set to auto-renew. And unless you checked your credit card bill closely, you might not know that you're paying for something you don't use. You can try out money management apps such as Subby, Truebill, and Mint, which will monitor your subscriptions and notify you of scheduled payments. You'll be warned before the subscription renewal is charged to you. 8. Lying to yourself. Sometimes the worst purchase decisions come from not being honest with ourselves. You may tell yourself a lie in order to feel good about a purchase, or maybe you avoid the situation entirely due to discomfort. No matter the situation, ignoring the truth will lead to bad purchases. For example, maybe you bought a monthly gym membership but aren't using it. The bill is automatically deducted from your checking account each month. You may be trying to convince yourself that you will actually use it. Or maybe you just don't feel like calling them to cancel. Whatever the white lie, that's real money you're losing out on. Most people spend between $21 to $50 on their monthly membership. That's $252 to $600 a year you could be putting towards savings or paying down debt. Another example of this mentality is taking college courses but not completing them. We all know how expensive higher education is. As a young adult, you may feel the pressure to enroll in college courses but aren't truly invested in them. Don't take a class you don't intend to finish. If you take an incomplete, not only do you not get to count the credit towards graduation, but you still have to pay the full price of the course. So be honest with yourself about your spending habits and decisions. Don't let money go down the drain because you were keeping up a facade.